で、あれまだ全然マップ続いてると思ったら急にロード入っちゃったんですよね。こっちに行けたりもする？なんか普通の RPG とかだったらこういう時ね、ちょっと戻ったらアイテムあったりしますけど、このゲームはさすがにそういうわけではなかった。なんか正面の木、ちょっとなんか独特な感じしません？あれがルートかな。でもこっちに星があるんだよな。40個目をゲットしました。また綺麗な音楽流れてる。向こうにすごいでっかい光の筋が入ってるけど、あの木行ってみるか。せっかく正面に見えてるんだし、行ってみましょう。こっちにも何かある。でも気になるから先にこっちへ。仮にこれで進んじゃったら、その時でもこれでジョセフの話めっちゃ飛んじゃったら嫌だな。すごい光の筋が出てる。よいしょ。なんだろう。
Even at my most distant, at the times when I detested him the most, he kept reaching out. For a year straight, he asked me every week when we were going camping. I thought he was just dense. Eventually, to shut him up, I agreed. We carried out the worn lawn chairs from the garage and set up a cinder block campfire at the site we'd always used behind the house. We walked down the mountain path, talking in the warm sunshine we only got a couple months of the year. Those 3 obsidian rocks shimmered alongside the shore, almost like sparklers pressed against a dark window. I'll never forget that wet stone on my feet, or how those massive mountains looked even bigger in the lake's reflection. I felt small, but grateful. As the sun set, my dad found something I hadn't seen for a long time. The tree where I'd made my first carving when I was 6. I hadn't even carved it. My dad had helped me, but I still called it my tree. Something about seeing my name there made me open up, and we talked about everything that night in that old camouflage tent. I told him how much I loved sketching and design, and how it would be a dream to study architecture in Seattle. I told him how I didn't get along with my friends much anymore, but that I didn't mind being alone. He told me he was there for me, and he joked that if all he had to do was write my name on a tree to finally get me to talk, he would have left me carved logs with novels on them in front of my room every morning. I don't know why it took me that long to realize it, but it was then I knew how much he had sacrificed for me.
ちょっと泣きそうになっちゃったお父さんの思い通じてるんじゃん。じゃあなおさら今はどうなってるんだろう。何これ。何今の何なんか集めるのか。 のそんなにできた子供時代を送ってないなって今でも思うんですけど、こうやってそこそこな年齢になって多少なりともその自分の両親の大変さとか、なんか人の親になることとかっていうのをちょっとこう考えるような、そんな年齢になった時に初めてこう子育てって大変だなっていうのは思うんですよね。いや私別に子供がいるわけでもないんで偉そうなことは何も言えないんですけど、でそんな中で本当に自分の両親はどんな時でも自分の味方になってくれるんだなっていうのは、そのずっと実家で暮らして一人暮らしを始めてっていう生活を送るようになってからすごい痛感するなとは思います。家に帰ってね、当時ってなんかただいまっていうのすらめんどくさいななんて思う時期が正直あったなって思うんですけど、でも今思うとただいまっていうのと、あとおかえりって言ってもらうのがすごい大切なことだったんだなって考える時がありますね。
My dad built a lot of stuff in his free time. If he wasn't watching fly fishing or reading Tom Clancy novels, he was carving something. He made tons of birdhouses. Not that he was into bird watching, but I think he really missed working and adding on to the home. If he couldn't afford the time to build onto our own house, he would have to settle with watching birds move into their little homes. We kept an old mattress in the bed of that ugly yellow truck, so we would drive it deep into the woods and then watch the birds fly into their houses while the sun set. Usually it was accompanied by venison jerky or a cold Coke, but not a lot of talking, which is how we both liked it.
すごいなんか家族とは何かみたいなのがたくさん語りかけてきますね。これ何？あれか。なんかなんて言ったらいいんだ？つまみを、左右のつまみを回すことで絵が描けるやつ。めっちゃ描くの難しいやつ。なんかどっちかが縦にしか動かなくて、どっちかのつまみが横にしか動かないから、すごいなんか駆使しなきゃ綺麗に描けないんですよね。取れるか。よし。
We were happiest underneath the evergreens. We decided it was time to finally map out the hundreds of acres we lived on just to pass the time during the summer. He was only free in the evenings, so I would spend the day wasting time on dial-up internet and sketching, and then we would rush into the woods, pen and map in hand, before evening fell. Sometimes the aurora borealis would cast a cold green glow on the mountainside, and we would finish our route underneath a twilight sky. Sometimes I was lonely during those summer days, but there was comfort in the routine.
A lot of teenagers aren't looking for the daily grind, though. There's nothing wrong with wanting to get out, to leave your childhood home. You wanted to progress, to make something of yourself.
Yeah, you're right. That house. I'm sure it's the same as how I left it. But then why does it feel so different?
I doubt you're the only adult to have looked back and asked that question.
子供時代が懐かしく感じたりとか、その時の思い出を、そうだね、実際思う時ありますよね。何かこう20年前とか10年前の自分はその今の自分の年齢になるときにどんなことをしているのかだったり、どんな人間になっているのかっていうのは全然想像もついていなくて、でもなんでかわかんないけど微妙に自信を持ってるというか、なんか何でもできるし何でもやってるだろうみたいな、なんかそんな自信に満ち溢れてる時ありましたよね。お、50個集めてトロフィーをゲットしました。お、ここはお、登れました。なんか正規ルートっぽくないけど、今おっしゃったんじゃないの？なかったかな。下なんかありそう。あ、これさっきのやつだ。はいはいはい。これが何かあれかな、特殊なアイテム的な感じでしょうか。で、戻ったらいいかな。ということで最初の曲がり角に戻ってきました。この先にあの光の筋があるところまで行けばいいかな。危な、見逃すところだった。よし、オッケー。よいしょ。たどり着きました。はい。It's a way forward。なんかゴゴゴゴゴって言いましたね。ということはおそらくさっきのところが通れるようになってるんじゃないかな。あとあっちも気になるな。これ何？あ、テントか。テントだ。 ジョセフがお父さんと一緒に使ったたどり着きました。
On our property, there were old abandoned pieces of a shed and car long left unused. I used to ask him all the time who those people were that left all this junk, and I'm sure he got so tired of hearing it that he made up some elaborate stories how a brown bear ate them and haunted the woods afterwards. What's funny is I think it made those people seem more real. Growing up thinking they were still hanging out like they couldn't say goodbye. I used to tell my friends how I could swear I saw spirits move near the water, and that always freaked them out. I guess it didn't bother me, because the way I saw it, they were normal people with old cars and sheds, just trying to figure out how to survive and be happy in the middle of nowhere. It was a cool thought that they didn't want to leave, but you know, I was a weird kid.
Well, you had good company since those ghosts like living in a place where they were brutally devoured.
住めば都ってことですかね。あ、これがあれか、さっきの一本の木のところか。おそらくこの奥が、あ、そうですね。すごい大きな木の根っこみたいなのが出てましたけど、通れるようになってます。で、なんか両サイドに橋がある。よいしょ。これ取れる？あの上かな？よし。取れないかと思った。
The perpetrator stood nearby, unfazed, like nothing was wrong. My dad is dead, and he's never coming back, Rachel. I can tell you these stories, but I can never reminisce with him again. He can never hold a grandchild that we'll probably never be able to have. I can never talk to him again, and I'll never be able to say I'm sorry. For everything.
なくなってしまったのか。え誰かいる。会える？え？びっくりした。って言われたから襲われるかと思った。敵いないって聞いたのにって思った。追いかけるのかな。